marketplace. These are things that have existed all the way back into the 60s. But the one that they call the Tic Tac here off the coast of San Diego, the white one, looked very much like this. These have been made by the Lockheed Skunk Works. And my favorite letter of all time, the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works, Ben Rich, think of the date on it, 1986. It was an answer to a letter someone wrote and says, are these UFOs man-made or extraterrestrial? He says, many of our man-made UFOs are really unfunded opportunities, meaning if it was released for public use, it'd be an enormous industry. Every meeting I go in Washington, I said, see that thing you guys are all talking about? That's Lockheed Skunk Works.
They have left us behind, and everything we see out in our world today is absolutely a construct. It's an absolute construct. The internal combustion engines are obsolete. The nuclear power plants are obsolete. The coal fire plants are obsolete. We have the wind generators, those are obsolete. The solar power, it's all obsolete. If we could follow the gravity research that the contractors and research institutions have been doing, we could see that bright future as well.
How many genders are there?
62. It's hard to know, really. It's changing all the time.
So, your species is evolving that rapidly. Remarkable. Perhaps while you are sitting here, you will grow additional limbs or develop the ability to breathe underwater.
No, that's not what we meant.
It's too bad. So, what are these genders, and how do they function?
Function? I don't understand.
Why, yes. On my planet, the female gender is the giver of life, raising and nurturing our young, preserving our civilization for eons to come, while the males mostly just mow our space lawns and make multiple trips to Space Home Depot.
What you are talking about is sex. Gender is something different.
Exactly. People can identify with genders different than their natal sex, or with none at all.
But why?
It's just the way we feel.
No! It's the way we're born.
Well, of course, a lot of times they don't realize how they were born until someone tells them. Someone like a teacher or social media influencer.
Oh, I understand. On this planet, there are people who are men, and people who are women, and people who are mentally ill.
How does God make the island boys rich when there are starving kids?
It's wrong to think that because a person is making a lot of money, God is blessing them. We live in a world of cause and effect. We live in a world of chance. And some people make a ton of money in some very immoral ways. And that does not mean that God is blessing them. It means they're shrewd, probably. They're also lucky. And it points to the unfairness of life. Some of the most Christ-honoring people I know are struggling with poverty, and it's tragic. Second point, Jesus Christ commands us as his followers to be generous, very generous. And to be honest with you, that's one of the hardest ethical questions in my life. I was speaking at Harvard, and a student stepped out of the crowd and said, you know, Cliff, you got it so easy. Every time you need to make a difficult ethical decision, you just go running to your magical book, the Bible, and there God tells you how to live your life. I, as an atheist, I have to existentially struggle through difficult ethical questions. I looked that student in the face and said, you got to be kidding me. My wife and I are building a house right now. In light of the fact that people are starving to death today, and in light of the fact that we have the solution for that starvation, give money to buy food to feed those starving kids, am I supposed to buy this kind of appliance for my house or that kind? Does the Bible tell me whether to go out and buy a Kenmore or a Westinghouse dishwasher? How much money am I supposed to spend in my car? And if you think I go running to my magical book, the Bible, and there God tells me to get a Kenmore dishwasher, or to buy this type of car, or to buy a used car instead of a new car, you're crazy. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible calls me to enter a relationship with Jesus Christ and to pray for wisdom and to pray that he changes my heart so that I become more generous and I give more away to feed starving people.
I'll do 70 sandwiches.
70? Damn, I got you. Let's get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hand them out to people who are hungry, man.
Sweet, dude. That's awesome.
Do you want to help me package them up? We could put them in like a bag or something?
Yeah, we can do that.
How much are the sandwiches?
$4, dude.
Okay, grab what the most popular ones are, because that's what people like, I guess, you know? Is this your biggest, like, order that somebody's came in and grabbed?
70 for sure, bro.
Who owns the shop?
My dad's shop, bro. So you want some burritos, too?
Yeah.
That's 50 right there.
We're getting close.
That's another 20, so that's 70 with those.
All right.
I'll tell you what. I'll charge you for 80. The 20's from me, okay?
Oh, man.
Got you. 423.
All right.
Good day, dude.
Once I get done handing it out, I got something for you, all right?
Thank you.
It's a surprise.
I've seen your videos here.
You sure?
Yeah, we watched your videos.
Oh, dude, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So the burritos need to be warmed up, so I'm gonna run into the gas station, warm them up, and then hand out the food to the homeless community. All right. Cooked all the way. The last 4. Oh man. Oh, what's that? Hey, we got a lot of them. Two? Should I set it right here? Okay. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
They're I'm gonna give you the rest of these, and then do you want to hand them out to people?
I'll do it.
Go feed the people, man.
I appreciate you, man. You gotta give me something to drink.
You get like a big thing of water.
Thank you, man.
Keep your head up.
All right, thank you.
Love you, man. So you're his uncle?
Yeah.
I don't know if he told you this, but he gave me 20 free sandwiches.
Okay.
And so I wanted to give this to him. So would you do me a favor? And when he comes back, give this to him. It's $100.
Thank you, Sheriff, man. Thank
Of course. I took this. Is that cool?
Anything you want.
I appreciate that. Okay, well, we'll see you again.
See you. Have a nice day.
You too. The place is called AA Market. Go show him some love. And the random follower who's getting blessed with $25 today is stack__. Congrats to you. Enjoy the 25.
There. Right up there. That thing was open. It opened completely up, and then it closed back up. And there's a little slot in it right up there. You can see that little slot where it looked like somebody was staring out of. Dude, giants are freaking real. I don't care what anybody says. There.
Pay close attention. He's in Antarctica, right next to the ice wall.
You're going to want to see this. Stretching off into the horizon, we have one of the largest tabular icebergs currently on our planet.
What you're seeing is a tabular iceberg. Tabular icebergs form a plateau with a flat top, unlike non-tabular icebergs, which usually have a rounded top. All icebergs form when a piece or sheet of ice breaks away from a large ice shelf or glacier. And because of ice's neat crystal structure, it tends to break along straight lines.
It just keeps going. Something this big is kind of hard to comprehend even when it's right in front of you, but this speaks to how much fresh, frozen water is down in the Southern Ocean. For anyone wanting some perspective, take a look at the birds that are flying next to this thing. It's probably about 200 feet high, and that's just about 15% of what's sticking out of the water. The rest is down below, like an ice wall, drifting through the ocean, currently heading east toward the South Orkney Islands. Kind of wouldn't believe it if
he was most likely near the James Ross Island on the left. The iceberg was headed to the South Orkney Islands on the right. After receiving many comments from flat earthers because he mentioned a wall, he then made a response video.
Okay, I'm going to stop this for just a minute. I want you guys to notice something here. Notice the hot spot of the sun right on top of the clouds underneath the sun there. And then you notice over here towards the right how dark these clouds look. And over here to the left how dark the clouds look. There's no sunlight hardly on those at all. But right underneath the sun, you see what you call a hot spot. And that right there alone proves that the sun is very close and local, right above the clouds. I'm going to demonstrate for you right here. Now notice I have a light bulb, which is round, which represents our sun source, and we have a flat mattress, which represents our flat layer of clouds. Now watch as I get the so-called sun down here at the edge by the horizon. Now you see that hot spot right underneath the light bulb? You can only get that hot spot when the light source is very close and local. Now notice the darkness on each side of the bed, just as you did on the blanket of clouds. It's really, really simple to prove. Notice right here, you see the hot spot underneath the light bulb? When I raise it up high, it lights up the whole bed. We put it back down low to the bed mattress, we get a hot spot. And when you raise it back up, it lights up the whole bed mattress. Anyways, let's continue on with the video. Just keep that in mind as you're watching the sun. Now, I want you to pay attention to these couple stars right here to the right of the screen. And remembering that the sun is supposed to be traveling in a straight line through the universe at 600,000 something miles per hour. Now, watch to the right as these stars zoom past us, okay? Remembering that the sun is traveling in a straight line through the universe, supposedly. We just left those stars behind, right? We're traveling in a straight line, which means we shouldn't be turning around and coming back there if we're following the sun, okay? Now, pretending we're on a ball. I'm saying pretending we're on a ball. But yet, you'll see those same stars again tomorrow. But we're traveling in a straight path, according to this sun that we're following. No, you're not. You're following the sun over some flat clouds on a flat Earth. Now remember, on a flat Earth, we're following the sun west, so that means it should always be turning just a little bit to the right of you as you're flying behind it, chasing it. That is why you keep seeing this cameraman turn the camera to the right. See, he's flying according to the compass, but the sun is making a circuit. That's why you keep seeing it go to the right, and he has to adjust the camera and the aircraft to the right. Now, if you were flying east, like we're going to do in the next chapter, you would constantly be turning the camera to the left. And look at that beautiful hot spot right over the top of those clouds. The horizon is the same all the way across. If the sun were 93 million miles out in space, all these clouds would have the same amount of light on them, but they don't. It only lights up the clouds that's right underneath it, and you can see it right there. Welcome to part 2 of Chasing the Sun Around the Flat Earth. Now, as you can remember, in part 1, I showed you a 777 flying from Seoul to Paris, going west, which would be chasing the sun on a flat Earth. Now, in part 2, I'm going to be showing you a flight going east from Paris to Tokyo. Now, if you're flying east on a flat Earth, you will fly right into the sun. It will actually pass right over the top of you, which is what you're going to see here in part 2 of Chasing the Sun Around the Flat Earth. Enjoy. Now notice here, going east, we have the same thing going on with the sun coming at us. See the hot spot underneath it on the clouds? And then see the darkness over here and over here? Look familiar? That's because it works the same way even with the sun coming at you from the east. Now notice once again, the hot spot of the sun is right here in the middle, right underneath it. And once again, over here on the side, it's still dark because the sun is right over these clouds, right underneath it. And the sun is going to pass right over your head right here. As you can see, it is right over the top of us at this point. You can see the hot spot right here on the clouds, right in front of us, because it's right over the top of us. And see the darkness back that way? The sun is right above us right here. And that is impossible on a spinning ball. Wake up, people. You just seen it with your own eyes.
Yo, so I just heard about this whole Andrew Dawson thing about this guy disappearing, getting taken out by the CIA because he was on something. I literally have goosebumps right now. I want to show you guys something. Alright, so I found the coordinates of where he took the picture. I marked it here with his name so I don't forget. But it was right around the Cedarside. You see Cedarside here behind this star, Cedarside Regional Park, which means that if he was on this road, looking this way, which he was, it would have been over on this mountain here. So when I scroll in to this mountain, and if you guys remember what the pictures look like, you see this road here, but if you remember what the pictures looked like, there was like a building with 2 antennas. Look at this shit. What's that? What is this? A tall figure and the building with 2 antennas. What the fuck?
So it's been almost 9 months.
What the US can learn from Japan. People waiting patiently. Suitcases waiting patiently. Trash bags waiting patiently. Trash bags with nets to prevent rats. Please learn, New York City. On-time trains. Fast trains. Reversible seats on trains. Barriers to prevent train deaths. Please learn, New York City. Cheap groceries. Cheap alcohol. Cheap unvandalized vending machines. Cheap restaurants with no tipping. Please learn, America. Toilets that greet you. Toilets with instructions. Toilets that are public and clean. Please learn, America. Competing boy bands versus girl groups. Singing microwaves. Creamia. Temple Fest. Hells yeah, Temple Fest. Shoes off in house. Shoes off at Temple Fest. Less chance of getting murdered. Please learn. What
they are deploying military and or law enforcement officers to help Texas secure the border. In addition to these governors with us here today, the following governors have also provided either military personnel or law enforcement personnel. Governor Lee from Tennessee, Governor Little from Idaho, Governor DeSantis from Florida, Governor DeWine from Ohio, Governor Sanders from Arkansas, Governor McMaster from South Carolina, Governor Youngkin from Virginia, Governor Justice from West Virginia, Governor Mark Gordon from Wyoming, Governor Burgum from North Dakota. All together, counting Texas, we have 15 governors in 15 states from the United States that are deploying personnel to secure the border. Altogether, if you add in the other states that are supporting this mission, 25 governors in 25 states, half of the states of the United States of America are banding together to step up and secure a border that President Biden has abandoned. And there are some very simple reasons why we're having to do this. The primary reason is because Joe Biden is not doing his job. Joe Biden is responsible for the largest amount of illegal immigration in the history of the United States. And there are deadly consequences because of that. More people are dying per year under Joe Biden as president than under any president in the history of the United States. The border between the United States and Mexico is turning into a deadly welcome mat for the migrants who are coming here. As an example, just last year alone, there was an all-time record number of people who died crossing the border. 853 people died last year. One was an 8-year-old child who died in federal detention. Another was a 5-year-old who died drowning coming across the river. And then just last month, here in the Eagle Pass area, there was an infant who drowned crossing the border. That was before that we put the buoys up. A little infant drowned, and not a peep out of Washington, D.C. about that. And then who can forget the 53 people who perished in a tractor trailer not far from here, just down or up the road in San Antonio? It's for reasons like this why the United Nations, an agency of it, declared the border between the United States and Mexico as the deadliest land border in the entire world. Joe Biden is responsible for that deadly border. But us governors, we're not going to stand idly by and see this disaster wreaked upon the United States. And that's why they have come here and why they are sending their personnel here because they know that we as states share an obligation, and that's to step up and respond to this unparalleled catastrophe caused by Joe Biden. And let me be clear, we are fully authorized by the Constitution of the United States of America to do exactly what we are doing, and that is to secure the border. Next up is going to be Governor Reynolds from Iowa.
Thank you, Greg. First of all, I want to just say thank you to you and Texas and all that you've done to really protect the security of the United States. Thank you for the update this morning, for giving us the opportunity to do the aerial view, to really understand the challenges that the terrain presents, to get a chance to see the buoys and the sea wires and just all of the efforts that are being put in place to secure this country. Texas has been ground zero for over 2 years because the Biden created catastrophe that we see at the southern border, whether it's national security, public safety, or just an assault on our democracy. You have been front and center through all of that. And because they have, on day one, this administration has reversed policies that protect the sovereignty of this country and the citizens, and ultimately have made every state a border state, certainly not to the extent that Texas is experiencing. But let me tell you, Iowa is located at the intersection of 2 major interstates, and it is a pathway for the Mexican cartel and for human traffickers to go from Mexico to the Midwest. Since 2020, we have seen a 500% increase in the amount of fentanyl that has been seized. We've seen a 100% increase in meth, and we have seen drug-related deaths increase by 35%. Earlier this year, in 90 days, from March to May, and I want to get these statistics because I don't want to get them wrong, the DPS actually seized 27,500 fentanyl tablets, 330 pounds of meth, and 72 pounds of cocaine. Again, I know that's nothing compared to what you're seeing here, but the bulk of those seizures can be tied directly to Mexico and the cartel, and we're 1,000 miles away from Eagle Pass. I want to say, before I turn it back over, just as the chair of the Republican Governors Association, I want to thank the 16 Republican governors that stepped up to do the job that the Biden administration has failed to do. We have over 1,600 National Guard soldiers that have committed to help you, 330 and counting law enforcement that have stepped up. I'm proud to say that Iowa has 109 National Guard soldiers on the ground today. I want to thank my Adjutant General from Iowa, General Osborne. I want to thank him for his service and his leadership. And again, thank the Republican governors in all the states, as you indicated, for stepping in and doing what the Biden administration should be doing. The fact that the states are protecting the southern border is an assault on the Constitution and the American people. And it is time for this president to step up way past time and do his job.
Thank you, Governor. Now Governor Pillen from Nebraska.
Well, thank you. I want to say we got to use that word thank you a lot. Governor Abbott, courageous leadership. It's the words I think of when I think of you to step up. So thank you for all that you've done. I want to also say thank you, Governor Stitt, Governor Reynolds, Governor Noem, for us being here together, showing great united, and the other Republican governors. I don't think we ever say enough thank you to the men and women in uniform that are behind us. They got our backs 100% of the time, and we never say it. And I need to give a shout out to the men and women from Nebraska. We've got 61 troops down. I got to spend time with at Alpha, and a couple got me behind my back, and General Strong. We got a great team. Couldn't be more proud. Maybe one piece that I can bring. I'm the newest governor. I have the privilege to take the oath of office January 5 this past year. That's very, very vivid in my mind. I took an oath. I swore to the Constitution of the state of Nebraska and to the Constitution of the United States of America to defend against all foreign and domestic foes, anybody that's trying to harm us. And I am here because we together have to work to uphold that. I like to use one word. What's my one word of what I've experienced my first time here? My word is disbelief. Absolutely disbelief of the misrepresentation. Let's just the misrepresentation of the buoys. I'm a pig farmer. It's hogwash, pun intended, hogwash. The buoys are a deterrent. They don't cause a Band-Aid, and if they do, I say, what the heck, stay on your side of the river. The misrepresentation of who's coming. I mean, we are fighting cartels that are trying to kill our kids. Kill our kids. That's one thing in the United States we all surely agree on, right? Is our kids, that we're going to protect our kids. So my message is simple. We have to do the work, and Biden administration, federal government, do your dadgum job. Common sense solved this problem. Follow the leadership of Governor Abbott. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Now, Governor Noem from South Dakota.
Well, good afternoon. I've been down here to the border before. This was the first time I had the chance to really see it from the air. And what we're literally witnessing is a war zone. And it's astonishing to me to watch it perpetuated by our federal government and by President Biden. I was the first state to send National Guard troops down here to participate in partnership with the Texas National Guard. And many other governors had sent some law enforcement. I sent my National Guard because I recognized what we were facing, that this really is a war. It's a war for our country and for our federal laws that have been passed in our Constitution. They are threatening our sovereignty right now, and the cartels are out for blood, and they are
So a lot of you might not be familiar with precisely what a disruptor rifle is. They're actually very interesting weapons. Now, in the case of this one, they are very powerful weapons, and we'll explain how, but they are single shot. So they are loaded one at a time. And what's really interesting about this weapon is that, like, compared to a lot of the sniper rifles that we used in the Imperial Navy, such as the DLT-19X or the T-21. So if you haven't seen a disruptor rifle in use, what we're going to do right here is we have this organic gel block made from organic matter. We're going to shoot it with an actual disruptor round, and we're going to see what's going to happen. I am excited. And load up our disruptor round, and we are good to go. Mike, are you ready? Go. Okay, here we go. It just, it was there. Then it wasn't there. He knew. He's a funny guy.
So if you deposit $10,000 into the bank sets aside 10%, or $1,000, and then loans out the rest of your money. The way it works is, say another person comes into the bank and asks for a car loan of $9,000. At this moment, the bank loans out the $9,000 from your original deposit. It isn't there anymore. The borrower then pays the person selling the car, and they go deposit the money into another bank, which is part of the same central banking system. This $9,000 is treated as a new deposit, and the process continues. The money gets redeposited and reloaned until the initial deposit of $10,000 becomes $100,000. The banking system just created $90,000 by loaning out your money. Apparently it began with the goldsmiths in the 17th century, when people were trading in gold. Gold was heavy to carry around, so people stored the actual metal in vaults and traded receipts instead. Those receipts were the first paper money. Since only a few people would withdraw their gold at any given time, the vault owners, basically the new bankers, began creating receipts for more metals than they actually held. They loaned out those receipts and charged interest on money, gold, that they didn't really have.
NASA. So here's the thing. NASA is the World Intelligence Agency. Everyone reports to them. FBI, CIA, KGB, CCP. Well, why would they lie about the shape of the Earth? What difference does it make? NASA was created right after Project High Jump, when Admiral Byrd flew out in Antarctica. On the other side of the South Pole, he found land bigger than the United States, filled with resources. Look at that. From Middle America, he would be in where South Africa is, or where Australia is. And another continent the size of the United States that no one has ever seen or set foot upon? What does that mean? What if he went from Middle America over what they call Antarctica, and then found another continent out here.
And that would destroy our whole worldview of reality.
Now, what if there's other civilizations here? What if these are where the controllers of the world live? Okay? What if...
I'm getting chills right now.
Because the reality, your soul is going, yes, listen, right? Get rid of your programmed mind. People don't realize, well, Russia would have ratted us out, and this and that. They're all in it together. Everything that you know is a lie. The United Nations map, Flat Earth map, International Maritime Organization, Flat Earth map, World Meteorological Organization, Flat Earth map, International Civil Aviation Organization. These are the things that control the world. Why do they all have Flat Earth maps?
Well, I don't know, artistically maybe they couldn't.
Artistically? Is that your explanation? Here, now let me ask you a question. If this is where we live, would you call this the outer space?
Sure.
What is this? More land? Extra territory? Extra terra?
Extraterrestrials.
Extraterrestrials from where?
Outer space.
Bingo. So why does it matter? Then when you understand that we're actually at the center of creation, this place was built for us, and we have natural law which says that nobody can take our free will away. Once you understand that nobody has control over you, you take your power back. You stop feeding this beast system that we're in. Globers think they know everything, but they don't know anything. And it's only for those that are willing to look and understand and see why it matters that get it. You know, once you get it, you can't unget it.
Yo, this man right here, time traveled.
His book, Altered States of Consciousness, and I'm just fascinated reading it, about all these different ways of expanding your consciousness. I'm 14 years of age. And so my best friend, Ryan Snyder, says, Paul, can I borrow your book? We're hanging together all the time. And I go, yeah, but I need it back. And so he borrows my book, and he doesn't return it. A day, several days pass, a week pass, 2 weeks pass, my brother's coming back on break. He said, I needed that book back, Paul. And I go to Ryan, Ryan, I need my book. And Ryan just kept on avoiding answering the subject. And so I said, finally, give me my book. And Ryan goes, I can't give it to you, Paul. I said, why? He says, my dad burned it. I said, your dad burned my brother's book? I go, WTF. I didn't use this phrase back then. I said, oh my God. And I have a shout out to Ryan Snyder's father, that because of that event, it stimulated my interest in altered states of consciousness even more. So John goes to Yale and goes to the University of Washington. I have this DEA permit. I'm at the Evergreen State College. John calls me up. And he says, Paul, I think I found some psilocybin mushrooms. John said, you're really smart. You've been collecting Psilocybe cubensis in Colombia and Mexico, but they're much more complicated up here. And I said, let me ask you a few questions. I said, okay, John, do you take a spore print? And he goes, yes. And I go, is the spores purple-brown? And he goes, yes, they are purple-brown. I go, good. Okay. John, does it have a separable gelatinous pellicle? And he goes, what's that? And I go, well, break the cap. These are growing on wood chips. Break the cap and separate the cap very slowly. Do you see a little skin that's translucent? And he breaks it and he goes, yeah, I see that skin. I said, John, they're growing on wood chips. And he goes, yes. I go, are they turning bluish? He goes, yes, they're staining really bright blue. I go, wow. I said, John, how many did you find? He goes, you would not believe it. It's a huge amount. I said, wait. I said, but he said, Paul, they're in a very sensitive place. You better come up here right away. So I jumped in my car and I drove up from Olympia to Seattle, about 60, 70 miles. I get to his house, and John's there, and I go, well, where are we going? He goes, well, we need some grocery bags, and let's get on our bikes, and let's go down there. I go, well, why all the secrecy? And the problem is, well, you'll see, and it was the end of Boat Street, and right at the University of Washington, right off of University Avenue, there's Boat Street, and we get there, and right across the street is a police substation. So we're there, and it was an eruption of this mushroom. There had to be 10,000, 30,000 mushrooms, I don't know. It was about 50 feet by 30 feet, with it all been mulched with wood chips. There was an eruption that picked up, trash and, debris that picked up 6 inches with solid mushrooms. There are mushrooms everywhere. I've, to this day, never seen so many mushrooms in one concentrated area. So we waited till the police cars went away, and we're kind of idling there, and then the police cars would go away, and from the substation, we start picking mushrooms, and we fill up a groceries bag or two, and then the other students are walking by. What are you doing? Oh, nothing, and then we eventually, there's plenty for everybody, so so it was like pretty soon everyone's all hanging out as a little group, like at the bus stop, right? We're not really waiting for the bus, right? We're waiting for the police cars to go away,
Right.
and then we picked all these mushrooms. So we got about 8 or 10 grocery bags full of these mushrooms.
How bizarre.
It turned out to be a new species called Psilocybe stuntzii, named after Daniel.
new species?
It's new species.
New as in hadn't been discovered before.
Had
you
never
guys
been described
picked
in
them?
the scientific literature before.
So you picked a mushroom that no one knew existed before,
Well,
or hadn't been.
hadn't been described scientifically. We had known about it for about 3 years, but this is the largest eruption, and from that collection became part of of the type collection that anchored the species taxonomically. So I think some of the specimens still exist in herbaria around the world because it's the reference standard. So we go back to the house, and it's like, we got to dry them. So we lay out newspapers, and the whole newspapers were just covered with mushrooms. And so that night, there's about 4 guys from Yale, all neurophysiology, all scientists, on the scientist track, and let's eat them. And so, this is not very potent. They're 1/10 the potency of cubensis, so we made smoothies. And oh my gosh, talk about the gag reflex. So we had to make these smoothies. I had to eat 50 of them in order to have a dose equivalent to what Psilocybe cubensis would be. So I knew that. So we made these incredibly distasteful milkshakes, and we chugged them and we drank them. And then amazing experience. I bonded with my brother. It was beautiful. And then you're peeking at this experience. You look around, and there's like tens of thousands of these mushrooms. Like, oh my gosh. And so I go to bed, and I'm laying in bed, and full blown experience, and I can barely sleep because all the colors are keeping me awake, and my mind is racing. And then I have a lucid dream. And I'm dreaming, and I wake up, and I go downstairs, and I go, I had this crazy dream. I said, what's your dream? And I said, I saw thousands of cattle dead, baking in the sun. I said, I think there's going to be a nuclear war. But what could kill all these cattle? There's a time the Reagan administration and all that, and the tension was really high between the Soviet Union and the United States. And they said, and they were joking with me, saying, "Oh, well, okay, when is it going to happen?" I go, "I know. I was in Olympia, and I needed to rush up to Darrington to stay in my cabin because my books were up there, my manuscript was up there. I need to save my research." So they laughed and said, "Well, when's the world going to end, Paul?" And I go, "Well, it's not this weekend. That was like in 2 days. It's next weekend." So they wrote on the calendar, December 1st. I put it in my book. I think it's 1975. The end of the world. They wrote, Paul predicts the end of the world. So we forgot about it. Massive rains the next week. Huge amounts of snowfall. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, temperature inversion. And it flipped to 75 to 85 degrees. All the snow started to melt. All the rivers were flooding. And my little cabin was right next to this river that would swell from morning to night. It would go up 6 feet just from the snow melt because it's very close to this volcano and big glaciers. I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my manuscript, all my research. I need to get up there. And so I'm watching the news, and the roads are being closed. So I had to go through Rockport, Washington, the back way in order to get back to my cabin. I get to my cabin, and the bank had eroded about 10 feet. I was only about 10, 12 feet away from the river now. My cabin was on the verge of falling into it, but I got my manuscript. I got all my books. I rescued all the material I had, but I couldn't get out of there because the roads had been closed. And so I had to wait 2 days, and the roads then opened up, and I drove out of the valley into Snohomish Valley, and I went around the bend, and there the sun, it was a brilliant sunny day, a warm day, and there floating in the fields were hundreds and hundreds of dead cattle. Whoa. How do you explain that?
Dude, you time travel.
I entered, I think, into the multiverse.
Into nature of that surrounding
Now,
area.
as a scientist, you realize when you say something like that, you open yourself up.
Homemade improvised rocket. The ingredients inside the shell are sugar and potassium nitrate from fertilizer. Pour these two ingredients into a pot in the right proportions, then heat and melt them. After melting, pour them into molds to cool and shape. This becomes the propellant fuel for the rocket. It fills half of the rocket's body. The entire body is also made from existing water pipes. So why use sugar as a propellant? Sugar can release a lot of energy when burned, and potassium nitrate in fertilizer contains many oxygen molecules.
Hello, Earth. I'm Alec Baldwin, TV star. You know, they say TV will rot your brain. That's absurd. TV only softens the brain, like a ripe banana, to take it all the way. We've created Hulu. Hulu beams TV directly to your portable computing devices, giving you more of the cerebral gelatinizing shows you want anytime, anywhere, for free. I only act out because I want your love. Dynamite! Mushy mush. And the best part is there's nothing you can do to stop it. I mean, what are you going to do, turn off your TV and your computer? Once your brains are reduced to a cottage cheese-like mush, we'll scoop them out with a melon bowler and gobble them right on up. Oops. I think I'm drooling a little. Because we're aliens. And that's how we roll. Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Hello, Earth.
The Simpsons have very scary predictions for 2024.
The Simpsons' predictions for 2024 are truly chilling. In an episode dating back to 1998, the show hinted at an economic crisis, a nuclear war, and the death of the leader of the United States, all happening in the same year. The episode in question, titled Bart to the Future, provides a glimpse into the future where Lisa Simpson has become the President of the United States. In a conversation with her team, Lisa mentions that the previous administration led by President Biden left behind budget problems and quite a mess. Later in the episode, a news bulletin reports a nuclear clash with an unspecified country, resulting in massive destruction and chaos. While the idea of a nuclear war and an economic crisis is quite frightening, we can certainly hope that these Simpsons predictions do not come true. However, it's hard to ignore the show's track record in predicting major events, which leads us to wonder what else they might have predicted for the future. And precisely, one of the latest episodes of The Simpsons contains an even more terrifying prediction than anything they have predicted before. Do you want a part 2 to find out about it?
Don't forget to like and follow and stay weird.
You know how we be telling y'all that crystals hold energy? Yeah, watch this. As you can see, you move it, it stops. It's just some bolts and some plastic, so it can keep a rotation. Yep. And put it on a penny. And these are crystals. All these are crystals that are surrounding the middle. Once you put them back together, now they generate some form of energy. Do y'all see this? Now let's look at it again. Now he take everything off. There's nothing up under there. He's basically showing you that it is crystals that are forming the energy. Now, watch as he put it back together. Now he generating some form of energy. Now y'all see what we mean by we wearing these crystals for the energy that they have. What if we can make crystal generators? Now it got me thinking. Let me know what y'all think about these crystals holding energy in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
A nuclear bomb has detonated. You are located just outside the blast radius. You've only got 15 minutes before fallout reaches you. It's okay, just follow the 6 S's of nuclear fallout survival. 1. Shelter in the right kind of building. Go to the nearest concrete or brick building you can find, ideally with few or no windows. 2. Sanitize your body. Put all clothes into a bag, place at the front door, take a shower with warm water, gently wash your entire body, keep cuts covered with plastic while showering. 3. Secure windows and doors. Close and lock all windows, seal them with duct tape, turn off AC units, fans, etc. All openings to the outside world must be covered. After a few hours, remove the duct tape, otherwise you could suffocate due to lack of ventilation. 4. Supplies. Get yourself 72 hours worth of water, medication, first aid kit, radio, flashlight, batteries, and also bags for waste. 5. Choose the right space. Get to a windowless room near the middle of the building, away from the outer walls, or go to a basement. Avoid rooms close to the roof because fallout collects on roofs. 6. Stay in place for 72 hours. The longer you wait, the more radiation will lessen. 72 hours is ideal. Okay, I'm Kiram. This is Medic 101 for civilians. Follow me on TikTok if you want to live.
Imagine.
Someone told me that Michael Jackson's still alive.
Oh my god, bruv. Do you believe that now still?
No, I've told you about this story, no?
No.
But I got told.
What, someone told you this?
His son.
What are you talking about?
No, I can't even do this on him.
No,
We're gonna get killed.
Go on. Go on. Go.
All I'm gonna say to people is, because now I'm sounding like one of them, innit? The youths on YouTube. Go and Google B. Howard Michael Jackson.
B. Howard Michael Jackson?
B. Howard. B. Howard.
Do that. Why? What will you see? Why are you looking at me like that for?
This man admitted it, bro.
What? He admitted what?
Longtime Michael Jackson friend attending the funeral. And Dave, yes, that's his name, Dave. He was David Rothenberg. He was set on fire in 1983, suffered, as you can see, terrible scars. Michael Jackson befriended him and paid for a lot of his surgeries. Dave is also attending the burial. Why Dave?
Well, to liberate myself from the confines of my father's criminality.
He caused the fire?
Yeah. He is a criminal, and he caused all this. To free myself of his name and his legacy, I decided to become my own person through changing my name.
We'll find out how
Michael Jackson was not just the king of music. Michael, who also had a talent for disguises, was also the king in this regard. The master of disguise.
of an explosive device, right? You can create an EMP. You can't create it like in a movie where it's like a little electrical battery that just sends out a pulse. It has to be something of a larger, a most explosive character trait. EMPs are also the natural byproduct in a nuclear detonation. Most people, when they think of a nuclear bomb, they think of a nuclear bomb that comes and is delivered by a rocket, hits the Earth, and then explodes, creates a mushroom cloud and a fireball, right? What they don't realize is that a nuclear warhead can be detonated at any altitude. It can be detonated 1 foot off the ground, 1,000 feet off the ground, 10 miles off the ground. It can be detonated at any altitude. And that the first wave of energy that comes off of a nuclear explosion is an electromagnetic pulse. So when we studied nuclear weapons in the Air Force, when we went to War College about how to apply and deploy them in combat, the first way that we would use a nuclear weapon is as an EMP. So you would send it, you'd launch it, the whole world would see it coming, right? But then you would actually detonate at altitude. And you would detonate at altitude so that it would send a very large, widespread, conical EMP that would short the fuses and communication devices of everything within its reach, right? So 2 miles off the ground, you might be able to neutralize 15 square miles of landmass, right? 4 miles off the ground, you could neutralize 50 miles of landmass. So
are these accurate numbers?
They're rough
Okay.
numbers. There's an exponential benefit to how far you can neutralize based on the altitude above ground, right?
What's the widest area that a EMP, a capability that you know of? How much?
Hey guys, John Robinson here. You know, it seems the powers that be are bound and determined to start World War III, and America, right at the front of the arms race, we're getting ready 2,000 soldiers to fight on foreign soil once again. You know, if we took out all the jerk-offs, cocksuckers, and rich pricks that start these wars, you know what we'd end up with? Billions upon billions of people worldwide who don't want to fight anybody. People don't start wars, governments do, over stupid shit. You see, our government's never going to listen to it, and if you look at the rioting that the mainstream media is covering up, this shit's going on all over the world. So what happens if nobody fights? Look at it this way. No matter what you think of another culture, everybody cross-culturally loves their children. The fact that all of you, 6.7 million people, were like, no, you're not going to take my daughter. No, you're not going to take my son either. We're done. You see, the fact is people are fed up with our government. You can be damn sure everybody else is with theirs. You see, the fact of the matter is no matter how many tanks or whatever military armament that a country has to plan to fight a war, they can't do dick if they don't know who's going to shut up to fight. Now, Americans have already taken a stand just in the response to that video, because you know the rest of the people feel the same way. We all love our children, no matter where you're from. But how about this? You could do your own video, or you could use my video, You're Not Going to Draft My Daughter, and basically you could just simply email people that address and have them email it to people all over the world, because I'm already getting comments from all the other countries. But the fact of the matter is, the governments of those countries, if this goes viral in their country, the one thing that the government won't be able to use is knowing how many people will show up for the draft, how many people will actually fight, how many people will desert. It basically short circuits the standard way they run a war machine. Now, you can do your own video or you can use mine, but what I want to do is get this to foreign countries all over the world, because obviously our government's the problem, and they're not listening to us. This is never going to stop if we do it any other way. And right now, the people have been pushed too far, and this is a peaceful way to stop all this shit in its tracks. Folks, I hope you'll all do this. The fact of the matter is, it's so simple. I did this on something years ago with some corrupt politicians trying to pull some shit. You just ask 5 people to repeat the message and tell them to ask 5 people to repeat the message until it goes around the world. It'll take about a week. Folks, if you like this idea, give me a hell yeah, because the fact of the matter is, working with the government is just another way to get a boner. And if you think the American people are ready for this government's bullshit to keep going, you are wrong, Elephant Breath.
Welcome to the fucking news. I'm your host, Kellerman, and here's the shit that's been going on in the Ukraine-Russia war.
Last week, Ukraine used long-range missiles that had been secretly provided by the U.S. against 2 Russian military bases in what they're calling Operation Dragonfly. Now, over the past few weeks, Russia has initiated a major offensive effort that includes surrounding the city of Avdiivka, which is one of Ukraine's most important and well-fortified cities. And it really doesn't seem like things are going very well for Russia. The UK Ministry of Defense estimates that about 298,000 Russian soldiers have been killed since the beginning of this conflict. And that includes 740 in just the last fucking day. Oh, and recently it's been reported that Russian military commanders have been killing their own soldiers who refuse to follow orders or retreat. Oh my God, follow me if you give a shit.
Has left its mark on the popular Mexican resort area of Acapulco, killing at least 27 people. The drone video shows the destruction the hurricane left in its wake. The storm surprised many by quickly reaching the powerful Category 5 status before making landfall, leaving little time for people to prepare. CNN's Patrick Ottman has our report.
No puede ser posible.
This can't be possible. Acapulco has been destroyed.
Acapulco, a tourist beach town, now the scene of heartbreaking destruction. After the Category 5 Hurricane Otis barreled into southern Mexico with sustained winds of 165 miles per hour, building after building ripped apart. Video taken from a drone showing widespread flooding. Some residents say they had no choice but to evacuate on foot. Power is disrupted for more than 300,000 people as of Thursday, and food increasingly scarce.
Looking at it now, Acapulco is a total disaster. It's not what it was before. The park was totally destroyed, the buildings, all the streets. No, I would describe Acapulco now as a total disaster.
As rescue workers reached the hardest hit areas, they reported grim news about the loss of life.
Unfortunately, we received word from the state and city governments that 27 people are dead and 4 are missing.
Officials said they tried to alert the populace of the rapidly intensifying storm, but there was not enough time for many to seek shelter, flee, or stock up on supplies. In less than 24 hours, Otis exploded from a tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane, which can inflict catastrophic wind damage and life-threatening storm surge. Forecasters admit Otis's sudden strengthening as it traveled over uncommonly warm waters caught them off guard. High ocean temperatures help fuel hurricanes. 2023 broke records for surface ocean heat, which scientists say is one of the effects of human-caused climate change. Mexico's president is visiting the region where the storm hit and said his country had never experienced a hurricane like Otis.
No tiene precedente.
This has no precedent in this country, not only because of the way it gained strength in a short time, but also because of the magnitude of the hurricane.
Forecasters called Otis a nightmare scenario, but it could simply be a sign of the hurricanes to come. Patrick Ottman, CNN.
Recovery efforts are underway in Acapulco, Mexico, after Hurricane Otis caused extensive damage. Power is slowly being restored, but operations at the airport are still suspended, and crews are working to clear debris from a landslide on a highway leading into the city. CNN's Gustavo Valdez reports.
This is typically what people come to Acapulco for, the nice beach, the nice surf, but right now it doesn't take long to see what happened after.
Former tech executive wants to give us all, give every American over 18 a universal basic income of $1,000 per month. Why? Well, let's ask him. Andrew Yang, Democratic candidate for president, joins me now. Thank you very much for being with us. Universal basic income. $1,000 a month for everyone, including, say, Allison Camerata?
Yes, that's exactly right. And we need to make this move because we're in the midst of the greatest economic and technological transformation in the history of our country. The reason why Donald Trump's our president today is that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And my friends in Silicon Valley know full well that we're about to do the same thing to millions of retail workers, call center workers, fast food workers, truck drivers, and on through the economy.
The former tech executive wants to give us all.
Most people disdain and they hate education because they compare it to the indoctrination that they received when they were in school, thinking that they were being educated. You know, when you usually get sick from like food poisoning, whatever it is that you ate right before that food poisoning, you usually hate that food. It's like icky. Yeah. It's the same thing with education. The reason education is gross to a lot of people is because of what they've been told education was. But the science of self-learning is the first step to freedom.
I got some shit I was holding off on, but I'm here to show y'all ass. Dog. Infant incubators. Yeah. Ooh. Didn't think I'd find out about this one, did ya? I've been searching and I have found. Now I understand why there's a bunch of NPCs out this motherfucker. People who ain't got no conscience and no soul. They ain't real. They test tube babies. Dog, look at that unnatural ass baby in that incubator. Whoa. Yeah. Didn't know about this one, did ya? Look at that. Baby incubator. 12 months of growth in 1 hour. Damn. They was even selling these motherfuckers. Baby incubators for sale. That's fucked up. Why would they do that? Man, I bet you they tried real hard to get rid of this information. Yeah, but I found it. Yeah, these motherfuckers was making fake babies. Maybe that's where all these entertainers come from. And maybe that's why they all look alike. Dog, you see what it say? Infant incubator. Maybe they wasn't getting it on. Maybe they wasn't having no sex back then. Cause why in the fuck would they need an incubator to make all these babies? You see what that shit say? Yeah, I circled it for y'all. Right there. Baby incubators. With living babies. You can come and see them. Say, come on in. Come and look at our fake babies. Come buy your one. They even got them a sister there. Helping make fake babies. Why would they need to do that? Huh? Why? These motherfuckers even got artwork of them with the fake little incubator babies. These motherfuckers done lost their damn mind. Look at that. Another incubator baby. Ha ha! Test tube baby. Fucked up, ain't it? Damn. Let me just look at the little incubator babies. I might go cop me one. Dog, fucked up thing is, they had incubator delivery men. That's right. Motherfuckers to deliver incubator babies. Look at this shit. Dressed up just like the mailman. Ready to give a motherfucker a baby. Ain't that a bit? Another motherfucker about to deliver a motherfucker a brand new baby. Damn. Coming with receipts. I already did all the celebrities who look just a fucking like. Past and present. Side by side. But what if they were all just incubator babies? Yeah. Created in a motherfucking lab. And out here living. Maybe they don't even know they're a fucking incubator baby. Damn. Watch out for the NPCs. They all around us, dog. Peace.
You want Want the creepy truth? In the place where American founding father Benjamin Franklin used to live, they suddenly discovered something horrifying. Benjamin Franklin lived in London in a house on 36 Craven St. in Pennsylvania. In 1776, Franklin left his English home to come back to America. More than 200 years later, in 1998, a few builders were doing renovations on the house at 36 Craven St. They suddenly discovered something horrifyingly buried in a secret windowless room deep inside Ben Franklin's basement. Beneath the garden, a 1 meter wide, 1 meter deep pit, over 1,200 pieces of bone from at least 15 people. Even more terrifying, 6 of the people were children. Forensic investigation shows that the bones dated exactly back to when Ben Franklin was still living. Although to these builders it seemed like they just uncovered a mass grave full of Ben Franklin's secret murder victims, historians soon came up with a different explanation. The most plausible explanation is not mass murder, but an anatomy school operated by William Hewson, a young friend of Franklin. Still, in Franklin's time, anatomy was illegal. It's not completely clear where these specific human remains would have come from, possibly from grave robbing or purchase. The 3 most powerful families in the world. I'm pretty sure you don't know the last one, and yet it will shock you. At number 3, we have the renowned Rothschild family. Originating from Germany, this Jewish family amassed its wealth through banking in the 18th century. Their influence spans across the globe, controlling today's financial institutions, and their net worth stands at a staggering $2,000 billion. Taking the second spot, the powerful Rockefellers dominate the United States. With a firm grip on major industries, finance, and even politics, they boast a fortune exceeding $3,000 billion. Their founder, John Rockefeller, once held the title of the world's richest man for many years. Sitting atop the list at number 1 are the illustrious Windsors, the royal family of the United Kingdom. Exercising authority over most of Britain, they yield substantial influence in British politics, while upholding ceremonial duties. Their control extends to states and palaces in nations far and wide. What other powerful families do you know? Comment to let me know.
And this is what the book said. History repeats itself in 80-year blocks called saeculum, but we'll just call them history blocks. Not exactly 80 years. This is history, not math, but roughly the span of a human lifetime, maybe 80 to 90 years. Within these 80-year history blocks, we have 4 turnings of around 20 years each. We usually call them generations. This book calls them turnings. Turnings are sort of like seasons, like spring, summer, fall, winter. Throughout our history, we've had these 80-year blocks, and the 80-year blocks have been remarkably similar to each other. We're in one now. The first turning, the first season, is a high, an upbeat era. The second turning is an awakening, a passionate era. The third turning is an unraveling, a downcast era. And the fourth turning, well, sorry, but fourth turnings suck.
Which one do you think?
The fourth turning is a crisis, an era of upheaval. We're in a fourth turning right now. Let's take a look at our saeculum, our history block. The history block that we're in the crisis of right now. Our high began after our World War II victory. By our, we mean America's. These are America's history blocks and turnings. During a high, the getting is good. We had the most even distribution of wealth during our high. You could work at a gas station and afford to buy a house. This high is the period that the MAGA hats refer to.
You used to be able to buy a house for $7,500. You could work a factory job and buy a house, sustain your family. Your wife would stay at home, raise your children. In a scenario where, you know what the government did? They're like, maybe we make things a little bit more expensive so that the wife can stay also at a job. And guess what? Guess who's going to raise the children? The system. Because if you control the future, you control the nation.
So this one was one
We got Hank Williams and Elvis and Little Richard and the birth of rock and roll. We launched monkeys and men into space. This is when the Mustangs and Corvettes first came out. Our high ended with the assassination of John F. Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. The high is not a high for everyone, of course. America still had a segregated South. Homosexuality was illegal and considered a mental disorder.
Yeah, I would say it was just a high. I think America was only great if you were a white guy. Like, it was not, I could not have all the benefits of
Sure, absolutely. But here's the thing: we need to take the principle, because it's not just at a U.S. level; it's at a global scale. Somebody said, "How do we know you're telling the truth?" You don't. That's why it's up to you to make your own conclusions, do your own research, and figure it out.
So you can believe monkeypox, you can go stay inside and quarantine again, or you can listen up. Like, pick one. Who do you think is right?
The high is a period of conformity. The age of nonconformity and of social justice begins during the Awakening, our passionate era. During the Awakening, we had Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, acid, Vietnam protests and Vietnam itself, the Women's Liberation Movement, Stonewall and the Gay Rights Movement, great movies, great music. This is when the first Macintosh computer came out. The Awakening is a time of increasing individualism. This second turning, this awakening, ended with the re-election of Ronald Reagan in 1984. Things get messy during the third turning, during the unraveling. We got the fall of Soviet communism and the beginning of the Russian gangster state. The greatest musicians of the time sang about violence and decay in their deteriorating cities. The LA riots, OJ, the bombing of Bosnia, and the Columbine high school shootings on the same day. September 11th, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Our unraveling ended with the financial crisis of 2008. A fascinating fact about this book is that it was written during the last third turning, published in 1997. But the book predicts now, what's happening now in this fourth turning. And what's happening now is right on schedule. 80 years ago, in the last fourth turning, America had her Great Depression, then World War II. 80 years before that, the Civil War. 80 years before that, the Revolutionary War. Now it's our turn to save the country. So where do you fit into all this? What's your role? It depends when you were born. Each generation, each cohort, tends to embody a specific archetype. An archetype that will move the society towards the next high. Each generation's archetype is the characteristic that will define the generation in its prime, in midlife. The boomer archetype is the prophet. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs are boomers and prophets. Both predicted that one day everyone, not just big corporations and governments, would own a computer. Gates even predicted a crisis like COVID-19 5 years beforehand.
Because he runs the shit.
The writers of this book are boomers and prophets. Gen X is the nomad generation. The quintessential Gen Xer, Elon Musk, builds things that move us from one place to another. Rockets, electric cars, hyperloops, nomadic devices. But the millennials, raised during the unraveling, will emerge as the hero generation during this crisis. These are the Parkland High students, the frontline hospital workers, and Malala Yousafzai. The book says millennials will be the World War II heroes of our history block. We don't know what Gen Z will do, but they will be an artist generation. From them will emerge the next Bill Withers, Toni Morrison, or Bob Dylan, all born during the last crisis, all from an artist generation.
I want to be that.
The history block before ours ended with World War II and began with the Civil War, 80 years prior. The history block before that ended with the Civil War and began with the end of the Revolutionary War, 80 years prior. Every 80 years or so, something big comes along and changes everything. And now, we're at the end of our history block, right in the middle of our crisis. We're in the process of changing our world again. The authors of The Fourth Turning tell us that these crises are like forest fires. Unpleasant, but necessary. They clear the woods for new growth. As we work towards our next high, this crisis will tilt the playing field away from the old and towards the young, they tell us. But the victory is not guaranteed. We will, each of us, need to rise to the occasion during this crisis. We will need to develop and fortify our virtues as we pursue a greener pasture.
The point is here, guys, it's very simple. We are in the fourth turning.
Mayorkas and his boss, Joe Biden, are the largest human traffickers and drug smugglers in U.S. history.
Senator, every child that comes into our care gets a Know Your Rights presentation.
Have you read that children are scrubbing dishes? They are operating heavy machinery. They are delivering meals. They are harvesting coffee. They are working construction. They are working as housekeepers. They are working overnight shifts at plants where they are not paid. They are not going to school. They are not cared for. They are not giving meals. Almost all of it illegally. Are you aware of that? That's a yes or no.
Yes.
Do the Know Your Rights presentation help them in those situations?
Senator ORR.
That's a yes or no, I think. Do you really think that you're helping these children by releasing them to labor traffickers and, yes, sex traffickers? 85,000 children whom you have no contact with, and your answer is we gave them a presentation before we turned them over to these people who are exploiting them on a scale not seen in this country for 100 years, a century. Do you do home visits in all cases? You can actually see where these children are being released, whose care you're putting them in?
We do not do home visits in all cases. Senator, I'd really like the opportunity to talk about what we...
Let's look at what the Secretary said to you. Mr. Becerra, the Secretary, told the ORR Director, that's you, right?
Extraordinary times call for extraordinary people.
Yes.
That if she could not increase the number of discharges, he would find someone who could. That if Henry Ford had run his plants like this, he would never have become famous and rich. This is not the way you do an assembly line. Get the kids out, run them through, get them out to those sponsors, those traffickers. Why didn't you resign when he said this? Do you think that this is morally acceptable? Do you think that this is acceptable to run ORR like an assembly line and to release these children to traffickers?
We do not run ORR like an assembly line. The safety and well-being of children is our top concern.
Plainly, it is not your top concern because you have managed to lose 85,000 of them. And they're with labor traffickers. How many are you in regular contact with right now?
I don't have the specific number.
How can you not know? Why would you come to this hearing and not know?
Respectfully,
I would like you to do your job and not release children to human traffickers. Respectfully, that's what I would like. I'd like you not facilitate the largest child trafficking ring in American history.
The scariest chapter in the Bible, Revelation 9, the Bible warned us. The 7 trumpets in the Bible, a series of judgments that God will bring upon the earth. They are described in the book of Revelation. The trumpets are sounded by 7 angels, one at a time. Each trumpet judgment is more severe than the last. The trumpets are a warning to the world to repent of their sins and turn to God. First trumpet, hail and fire mixed with blood falls to the earth, destroying 1/3 of the trees and all the grass. Second trumpet, a burning mountain is thrown into the sea, killing 1/3 of the sea creatures and polluting 1/3 of the sea. Third trumpet, a star falls from the sky, poisoning 1/3 of the rivers and springs. Fourth trumpet, 1/3 of the sun, moon, and stars are darkened. Fifth trumpet, a plague of locusts is released from the abyss to torment the people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. Sixth trumpet, an army of 200 million horsemen is released from the Euphrates River to kill 1/3 of humanity. Seventh trumpet, 7 angels with 7 bowls of God's wrath are poured out on the earth, bringing about devastating judgments, including a great earthquake, a plague of fiery sores, and a hailstorm with hailstones as large as talents. The 7 trumpets are a reminder that God is holy and that he will not tolerate sin. They are also a warning to the world to repent and turn to him. The trumpets are a symbolic of the end of the age. The 7th trumpet marks the beginning of the final battle between good and evil and the end of the world as we know it.
Is this a sign from God that judgment is coming in 2023? Watch this. Oh my God! The Bible in the book of of Revelation, it says that angels are waiting for a command from God to blow the trumpets of judgment. And this judgment is going to be coming upon the people who have denied Jesus as Lord. If you want to be ready for when Jesus returns, click the video I pinned in the comments and subscribe or follow for more.
Do you hear that? Come here. Can you hear that noise?
What is that? What?
It's coming from the sky.
Are you sure, Dad?
Come here.
Sounds like a trumpet, Dad.
What is that? So weird.
So scary.
Is that a trumpet or?
Sounds like one, but why? It's coming from the sky.
Crash team to ICU West. All members of crash team report immediately for a code blue at ICU West. Crash team to ICU West. All members of crash team report immediately for a code blue at ICU West. Crash team to ICU West. All members of crash team report immediately for a code blue at ICU West. Crash team to ICU West. All members of crash team report immediately for a code blue at ICU West.
Forward, please. Facing forward. Thank you. That's what I like. Whoa. 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 Everybody hang on. Oh. Is everybody okay? Kids. Kids. Forward, please. Facing forward. Thank you. That's what I like. Whoa. 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 Everybody hang on. Oh. Is everybody okay? Kids. Kids.
This is the definition of hidden in plain sight, part 2.
Has the Illuminati approached you about sacrificing anyone to make it happen?
All the time.
Okay.
I don't know if you've had this, but I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And you've been on me. Oh, there's a room.
I call it the room with the door behind it.
you never get to that door. We always got through the first door, and we were so excited about being in that room that we never looked at the next door.
Stage, that's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, I mean, damn, pause, but like, that's how, I mean,
First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. You know, shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, just let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed.
This is
What is DEF CON, and how do people get it wrong? Let me explain. The Defense Readiness Condition is the ranking system used by the U.S. military to determine how much danger America is in from hostile powers. There are 5 DEF CON levels, with 5 being the lowest used during peacetime. It's the default state of readiness, codename Fade Out, and color-coded blue. DEF CON 4 represents an increased security presence. This is when the military starts to get ready in case of any further threat. Codename Double Take, color code green. If DEF CON 3 is announced, U.S. soldiers and the military as a whole must be ready to move out on short notice. This is thought to be the current DEF CON level as of the writing of this video. Codename Roundhouse, color code yellow. DEF CON 2 means the world is close to nuclear war, with the military being fully prepared to engage the enemy. There have only been 2 times in history where the military announced DEF CON 2, codename Fast Pace, color code red. And finally, DEF CON 1, codenamed Cocked Pistol, means nuclear war is imminent. DEF CON 1 has never been declared in history. Color code white.
Would you rather have $100 for yourself right now, or have you make $100 worth of food and we can hand it out to the homeless?
I'd rather sell it to you for the homeless.
You would?
Yeah.
How much are they per taco? $3?
$3.
We'll take 33.
33 tacos? What kind of taco you want?
How about a mixture of everything?
Okay, it's gonna take me a while because it's a lot of tacos.
That's okay.
So it's $99.
All right.
Actually, once you're doing this for the homeless, I'm gonna charge you only $60. Sounds good?
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Oh, that's awesome,
Is
man.
that okay?
Thank you.
Because I like to help people too.
That would be excellent. So you own it, huh?
Yeah.
Do you like doing what you do?
Oh yeah.
Is this like your full-time job?
Yeah.
What's your busiest day?
My busiest day is today. You got me busy today, so.
Yeah, I do. Do you sell a lot of them?
We just started last year.
What's like
so
your average sale day? How many do you usually sell?
I don't know, $400. Let me work on it. So.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. All right.
Ready, man. So there's, you guys eat?
Oh, how many's in there?
3.
This one's for us?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Thanks, Roberto.
Yep.
So after we're done handing out the food to people that are homeless, we got a big surprise for you.
Can't wait to see.
Okay, we'll be back, okay?
Sure.
Thanks, man. We got tacos.
Okay, thank you.
There's some salsa in there, too.
All right, thank you.
Tacos?
Yeah.
Okay, enjoy.
Can I do one for me and one for my...
All right, yep, 3. You got it.
Yep.
You like tacos? Yeah, you want some tacos, man?
Yeah. This is good?
Yeah, it's yours. Everybody loved the tacos.
Yeah.
And now we got a surprise for you, man.
You really surprised me by showing up and buy tacos for the homeless.
We got something else, though, on top of that. Hold your hand out, man.
What is that for?
For being you.
Yeah?
For being a good person. You gave us a deal on the tacos. So here, this is for you, man. Here, I'll show you. It's $500.
Yeah?
So that can go to you.
Thank you very much. God bless you for what you're doing. I like to help too.
I can tell you do.
Okay, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm gonna use that for my family. One lady comes like 3 times a week. She's a homeless too. She knocks on the window and she goes, "Give me some food."
And you give her tacos?
Yeah, I give her 2 tacos.
Your father must be proud.
Yep. If God gave me this business is for something, you know?
Yeah. A lot of my followers struggle too on my social media page. And so can you pick out a random person for me and I'll bless them with $25 for you?
TikTok. This video is for educational purposes. Okay? It is not real. In this video, I'll be showing you old buildings from past civilizations that were found after a reset has happened. Buildings that are much larger than what they perceive to be. That right there shows that there's more to that building that meets the eye. Once these motherfuckers start doing this construction, they find more of the building underground. And it's because there was a mud flood that did that. But they don't want us to know about the mud flood at all. They don't want us to know that there was other civilizations more smarter with better technology than we had. And the people who did that, who built all this stuff all around the world, it's the Moors. Tartaria. Look at that. Once people start digging, they find information. Just like we do when we start digging, looking for research, going down these rabbit holes, and we find information. Look at that building right there. mud flood. As you can see, that building, well, how they try to call it a house, was not just a house. That was a big ass building covered up by a mud flood. Now, I'm telling you, this shit is all over the world, not just in one area. Look at that. They unearthed more to this building or buildings, and they found that there's more to it. Yeah. So, why? Why are they hiding this? That's a good question. It's because they don't want us to know that the earth is either older than what they're telling us, or it's younger than what they're telling us. Either way, that building is bigger than what it is. Doing construction, finding out that these buildings go way under the earth. I wonder how far they go exact, but that's crazy. Ain't that crazy to you? Because it's crazy to me. Now, this is an old photo right here. To me, it looks like these buildings are under water or mud, and it's super old. Now, I don't know who took this picture, but you can see that this shit was buried. Yeah. How though? How did it get like that? You can read construction they were doing to this cathedral, Church of Christ. Up under there, there's more building. Yeah. Look at the architecture of the building. We don't build buildings like this anymore. And you want to know why? It's because we don't have the technology to build it. Or the people who are building all the stuff we got now aren't intelligent enough to build these things. They used to put copper, because it harnesses energy and electricity and stuff like that, on top of these buildings. So they had free energy all over the world too, in all these different places. And that's why they have them. They had long antennas on top of the buildings. It wasn't just for the look. It was for the free energy. But I digress. Look, more findings of mud flood buildings left behind that they just decided to just keep it under there and build over it. Now, see, when people were fake building all these buildings that they said they did with horse and buggies, they was like, nah, you know what? We're going to keep this shit undercover. Nobody going to know. They are never going to be smart enough. But guess what? My generation's smart as a motherfucker. Y'all just can't tell us any motherfucking thing. You got us fucked up. We do our research, we look for shit. See, y'all created this internet so it can control us, but what it ain't gonna do, what y'all didn't think would happen we would use this shit to get information, and that's what we doing. You dig? That look like an old courthouse or something. And show as hell done found parts of this building doing construction. Look at all of that. Got us thinking this shit just start right here. Nah. They go way under. Mud flood, baby. More mud flood buildings. Hidden history. Yeah. Right there. I wonder what's the reason behind hiding all of this information? What's the reason? I guess the more we don't know, the more they can control our ass, huh? I'm telling you, it worked. It worked. Now, I started finding out about the mud flood about a year or two ago, just going on YouTube, going down a rabbit hole. There's a YouTube channel called There's No Place Like Home. This is a woman who's a teacher. I believe she teaches like actual students. But she has a great channel and she finds a lot of stuff. Go to YouTube, type in, I can't believe, what is it called? There's No Place Like Home. That's what it's called. Type that in on YouTube, you will find it, and she got a whole bunch of Tartaria stuff and mud flood stuff on there, and she gets real deep into like different resets. She teaches about different resets and how they came to be, and how we might have already went past the book of Revelation, and we're now in a different reset where the devil has all the control for a little bit of time or something like that. I know I gotta refresh my memory. I don't have it right now, but go ahead, go look it up on YouTube. You will be impressed. Look at that. At the top, covered. Bottom, uncovered. That's beautiful right there. Unearth that. That definitely was from the mud flood. Look up, baby. Look at that. That's crazy. Look how far down that go, though. Like, come on, man. Be real. That's some wild shit right there. Look at that, man. Damn. Stuff was so beautiful, too, man. Super beautiful. Now, TikTok, this was for educational purposes. I already said it, so leave me the fuck alone. Alright, see, now I have this book, The One World Tartarians. You can find this on Amazon. I have this book by James W. Lee. It's a great book. I have mine in color. So, if you want to know something, you want to just do it on your own, you can go get this book on Amazon. It's a good read. I'm telling you, go get it. Peace.
If we are the only intelligent beings in the galaxy, we should make sure we survive and continue. Our only chance of long-term survival is not to remain inward-looking on planet Earth, but to spread out into space. We don't appear to have been visited by aliens. I'm discounting reports of UFOs. Why would they appear only to cranks and weirdos? If there is a government conspiracy to suppress the reports and keep for itself the scientific knowledge the aliens bring, it seems to have been a singularly ineffective policy so far.
The potential benefits of creating intelligence are huge. We cannot predict what we might achieve when our own minds are amplified by AI. Alongside the benefits, AI will also bring dangers, like powerful autonomous weapons, or new ways for the few to oppress the many. In short, the rise of powerful AI will be either the best or the worst thing ever to happen to humanity.
What do you think is the cosmological effect of Zane leaving one direction and consequently breaking the hearts of millions of teenage girls across the world? And I confess I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Finally, a question about something important. My advice to any heartbroken young girl is to pay close attention to the study of theoretical physics. Because one day, there may well be proof of multiple universes. It would not then be beyond the realms of possibility that somewhere outside of our own universe lies another different universe. And in that universe, Zane is still in one direction.
Once you become one with God, universe, source, you gain supernatural abilities. Listen.
Your flesh, this rock, the stars in the sky, all things in the cosmos are made from the same atoms.
Same atoms.
From the moment we are born, we all hold the cosmos within ourselves. A knife can make it explode and shatter the atoms of any object.
Tap into the universe. This what happens when you tap in. You become one with everything. Because you are everything. There's nothing outside of self. Like she said, the same atoms that's inside of you is the same atoms that make up the wall, the same atoms that make up a rock. Once you meditate and go within yourself, you will start to understand that. The power will start to unlock. Because now you understand that you are powerful. You are the universe. The universe is one with you. Let me break it down more for the people that don't understand. The same atoms and molecules that make up your body, my hand, my finger, my fingernail, this phone, Wi-Fi, everything. It's the same atoms, or as we would call it, God, universe, or source. Nothing is outside of source. Source is energy. Matter is nothing but low vibrating energy. Once you tap into that, now you have supernatural ability. Are y'all following me? Those that don't believe me, go to CIA.gov and read Project Stargate. I'm not just talking. Let me know what y'all think about us tapping into the universe and gaining supernatural abilities in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned.
Alright, so check this out. They put all of the hidden information in these kids' movies. They're telling us, you guys just have to look. So we all know the rat story in the Ice Age movies. He's always going for the nuts, right? He finds Scat Atlantis or Rat Atlantis or something like that, right?
The greed of an outsider leads to destruction of Atlantis. Look at the acorns as if it were ancient forbidden knowledge.
They put the truth is always in the details, hidden within.
Acorn here could be forbidden ancient knowledge.
Be more than a rodent, be more than a human, what I'm saying? Or whatever.
He looks anyway and sees the truth. This acorn is floating over the waters, above the waters, and guess where it fell to?
Money hungry, lust for power. Keep watching.
The waters fell to earth, losing their heavenly connections from the heavens. What if Atlantis was a place located in the waters above the firmament?
These killer whales were reported running terrified from something. They are known as the most dangerous sea animals, but they are so afraid they are getting out of the water to escape. What thing or animal could have caused them to do this?
Boludo, se cagaron, pobrecito. Mira eso cómo está tan grande, pobrecito.
Stop drinking water. Water is terrible for your health. Let me explain. You see, 92% of people in the USA drink tap water or purified water from plastic. Tap water is extremely dirty, unethical, and also filled with chemicals like fluoride. Fluoride is a poison known to calcify the brain's pineal gland and can cause diseases like dementia. The agents have been tricking you by saying they filter the tap water, but this is all Matrix talk. The best water you can drink is spring water from glass. I recommend a brand by the name of Mountain Valley, as it is in glass, and contains 0 fluoride in it. If this is too expensive, you can opt for a reverse osmosis machine. This machine attaches to your sink and filters 100% of the chemicals in your water. You can choose to listen to this information or ignore it. The choice is yours. Morpheus.
So some people are finding bugs in their ketchup bottles. Not the ketchup too. Oh my gosh. So he drip a little ketchup drip on a platter and finna do some lab work on it. Drip a little more drip on that motherfucker.
Oh
and
my
then look
gosh,
at this.
What the fuck? I just sprayed it out of my brand new ketchup bottle.
Brand new ketchup bottle.
And this is what the fuck came out in the bottle. Oh my god. That is disgusting. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Hand me the goddamn mustard. The mayo. The relish. Anything but goddamn ketchup. Why the fuck you got microbiotic creatures living inside this damn bottle? Please explain that shit to me, cause I don't understand. Let me know what y'all think about ketchup bottles having little creatures in them.
If you see this tree, your day is ruined.
Money!
I'm sorry guys, but I'm about to ruin the joke. So you guys might have seen a video like this pop up on your For You page recently. This is one that I got tagged in where we can see this guy recording this tree with no context whatsoever with one word: help. Upon closer look, this is what the tree looks like, but you might not understand what's going on here. Well, this video was recorded in part due to a meme that's been going around lately, known as the lepidodendron meme. This image has been bouncing around on the internet for the past few days saying, attention, have you seen this tree? Hopefully you haven't, because it's a lepidodendron tree and it's extinct. And allegedly, if you're seeing this tree, it means that you've fallen through some sort of rip in the fabric of time. This has prompted a ton of people to start recording videos of trees that somewhat resemble the lepidodendron tree, but really are not the lepidodendron tree. This right here is a pretty accurate portrayal as to what a lepidodendron tree would look like in its normal environment. So if you see one of these, you don't have to be too alarmed, you just have to wake up.
Cause what's that Doja Cat song that's popping now?
I said what I said.
I hate that song, bro. I hate it, bro. Oh, yo, me and Carlos were in the car on the way back. We were driving, and my blue car doesn't have aux, so I have to play the radio. And I literally click on the most random radio station. It was Doja Cat song, something like "All Hail the Demon."
Hey, how my demons look.
I said. Literally a split second, bro. 3 seconds in, I click it. All Hail Demon.
Within a second. No, but Doja Cat's satanic. Period.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think Taylor Swift is too.
Wait, why Taylor Swift?
Oh my god. Why? Taylor Swift, at her concert, she just wants the crowd to say "Summon the demons."
No. What?
Yes.
No, she didn't.
Yes, bro. Look.
This is Taylor Swift's song Willow, where she is a witch doing rituals. So the first video that you saw was taken by a fan the other night at the concert, and he says, yes, summon the demons be. The worst part is she commented twice, and she says, is this the new 1, 2, 3 let's go be? So she's saying, is summon the demons the new crowd chant?
No. That is obvious,
bro. I'm telling you, bro. Now people are not scared, bro. Artists are not scared to just showcase it now.
Yeah. That's how they get you, bro. That's how you really, really separate the true people that do good and believe in good, and the people that they know they're taking part in some satanic, but they still decide to, you know, it's good music though.
Yeah. It's music.
It's music though.
Because what's
Y'all see the chaos going on right now in the world? Do y'all realize that they have let in hundreds of terrorists in the United States? You can look it up. Hundreds of them. Do you think it's a game out here? You better know who you roll with. You better know who you serve. If you are put in position where your fleshly body, your fleshly life is in jeopardy, are you gonna keep the faith? Are you gonna stay with the Lord? Fear not the man who can take your body, but fear the one who can destroy your soul and your body. Many of these people are in mass deception. They are taking people's lives, yelling out, God is the greatest. Innocent lives. Allahu Akbar. Innocent life. Allahu Akbar. They think they're doing a service for God. You know what Hamas in Hebrew means? It means violence. Hamas in Hebrew is translated to violence. Boy, oh boy, my Lord. Where are we at in time? This is not a movie. And please stop commenting in my comments, we're gonna fly away. Please, miss me with the scary stuff. It's time to be soldiers for God. Rejoice in your tribulation, the word says. Rejoice, for you have the victory, my brothers and sisters. Whether you're on this planet or not. Hallelujah. Rejoice. They used to rejoice when they were giving their life up for the Lord. Back in the day, the early martyrs, they used to rejoice. There are stories of women who had to give their life up because they wouldn't deny the Lord. They had kids, and their kids had to be taken too. And then the women would say, I wish I had more kids to give to the Lord. Are you there? Now you can see the difference of our relationship and how the relationship with the Lord was back then. You know why? Interpretation of scripture and understanding of the spiritual aspect of the word of God, which a lot of us have fell away from. We don't truly know God the spiritual way he wants us to know him. But hallelujah. The hour is coming where the true worshipers will worship him in spirit and truth. The word of God says, and that's exactly where we're at. True revelation reigning, my Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Father. True revelation reigning. And we're going back to how they interpreted scriptures back in the day. How the early church fathers interpreted scriptures. Do you know that there were early church fathers who they tried to burn and they would not burn? Go do study on Polycarp, a bishop in the early church. When they tried to burn Polycarp, he wouldn't burn. He smelled like bread. Hallelujah. He smelled like bread. They had to stab him. And so much blood came out that it quenched the fire. Hallelujah. The early church fathers said apostles and prophets would be around until the ending of the age. Ephesians 3:5 says that God hands down his secrets and mysteries to his apostles and prophets. So when you say something like apostles and prophets do not exist nowadays, you're saying that God is not handing down no more revelation. Do you understand what you're saying? You are in full deception, and if a teacher is teaching you that, I advise you to leave. Because if the early church fathers said that there would be apostles and prophets until the end of the age, and those were the very first disciples of the very first apostles, where the very first interpretation of scripture came, very first teachers, back then when Father was passing down tradition from son to son to son to son, until a great falling away had happened, like Jesus said it would. Now you got teachers out here teaching differently than the early church fathers taught. So if your teacher is telling you that there's no more apostles and prophets when the early church fathers said that there would be until the ending of the age, your teacher is teaching the doctrine of demons. You are fully deceived. You teach a different gospel, Galatians 1:8, than the one that the apostles taught, you will be cursed. So hear what I'm telling you right now, because I'm telling you what they believed in the beginning, before the falling away. Before Roman Catholicism came in 325 AD with Roman Emperor Constantine, I'm telling you what they believed in the beginning. Now, granted, there are many, many false apostles, many, many false prophets, many, but there are rare, real ones. Revelation is being poured out. Spirit of God is being poured out. We're going back into truth. May the fire of the Lord consume you, refine you, and purify you like gold being refined. May you be presented without blemish. May you be filled with the Holy Spirit, so this type of stuff doesn't bring fear to you. Don't be afraid, my brothers and sisters. We have the victory, and the remnant of God is rising. The glory of God is coming for those truly walking with the Lord. Believe me when I tell you this, when the glory of God hits, when that great and terrible day hits, there will be people that come into a glorified state and put on what Adam took off on earth. You will see people walking around and you will know they are children of God because Christ is illuminating in them so much. The glory of God is on them. We are coming in a time where hospitals are going to be emptied because so many people are going to be coming to where the children of God are to be healed. We are coming in that time. We're coming into that day. All this nonsense about Hamas and all that, it doesn't bring no fear to my heart. I know the glory is coming. As the early church brothers and sisters said, when they being fed to lions, when they were being set on fire for different parties, when they were being stretched out by horses, when they were being skinned alive, as they said to each other, keep the faith. Y'all see the...
Please, I am begging you. I'm not going to preach anymore. I am begging you. I am begging you. I am begging you. Next time, don't go out in the street. Don't go out in those dark alleys. Don't do anything that is displeasing to the Lord and an offense to the Almighty God. Don't. Next time, I don't care who that person is. It could be your best friend, could be your best cousin, could be your best, closest ever person to your heart. I don't care. Anyone that tries to take you away from Jesus Christ, say, I don't have the time for you anymore. I've changed. I've changed. I have changed. No more. No more. No more. I have hurt my Lord for too long. I can't afford to hurt him again. I have given him my back. Today I gonna give him my face. I'm gonna face him. And I'm gonna give my back to the world. So, filth of the world, I step on you in Jesus' mighty name. I step on you. No more drugs. No more killing. No more lying. No more swearing. No more gambling. No more drinking. No more living in sin. No more with this and that and everyone. No more. Enough. I surrender, Lord. I surrender. I surrender, Lord. I surrender. Lord, give me the strength to step on Satan. Lord, give me the strength to set me free from the chains of Satan. He has chained me with so many things. Pornography. Filth. Enough. Enough. Wake up, my son. Wake up, my daughter. Please, I beg you, wake up. And another thing. Stop fighting over materialism. Stop fighting over things that are temporal, that have never been yours, never will be yours. Stop fighting over money, over property, over possessions, over this, over that. Stop fighting over things that are never yours. Fight to gain Christ and His kingdom. Fight to please the Lord. Fight to make Jesus happy. Fight for this. Yes, fight for this. Fight for this. Fight for this, my child. Fight for this. I beg you. I beg you. I truly beg you. Fight for this.
At which point everybody's like, what? What is happening right now? So they radio over to this Russian destroyer and they're like, what are your intentions? And the Russian commander radios back in broken English. I swear to God, this is a real quote. I'm just here to take pictures for history. Look, I know that I bash on the Soviet Union and communism every single chance I get, but this time around, I gotta give it to them. These guys know how to party. Just straight up rolling into the middle of the largest naval operation since World War II to eat popcorn and watch. It's incredible. At this point, Iran finally figures out that there's something going on, but they don't really know what, so they just begin attacking any ship they can find, and the first ship they found was a civilian cargo ship called the Willie Tide, that they begin attacking with Boghammer-style speedboats. So the Willie Tide radios for help, the USS Enterprise responds by sending up a bunch of A-6 intruders, as well as F-14 Tomcats. The A-6 intruders show up, start dropping cluster bombs, they end up hitting one of the speedboats and scattering the rest. The civilian cargo ship is saved, hooray. Cutting back to Charlie Group, now there's an Iranian fast attack ship coming right at them. So they radio over like, hey, yeah, we're kind of going around blowing up all your stuff, but also we've got a very specific list. You're not on it, so how about you just go away and we'll forget we saw you. The Iranian fast attack ship messages back, sounds good, we'll do that. And then they just keep driving right towards them. And then this Iranian fast attack ship gets within like 15 miles of Charlie Group, which is like point blank range for a naval battle. Charlie Group radios again, dude, what are you doing? To which they respond, I'm following orders. And then they proceeded to lock their radar on Charlie Group, which Charlie Group can see. At which point Charlie Group immediately launches 5 missiles directly at the Iranian vessel. The Iranian vessel fires a Harpoon missile back at Charlie Group. Both groups now have missiles in the air screaming towards one another. the Americans launched countermeasures, shooting up chaff rockets that end up catching the Harpoon missile, detonating it in midair. The Iranian vessel, on the other hand, did not have any countermeasures capable of stopping the newer technology behind the American missiles, and it would end up getting sunk pretty much immediately. Then, before anybody can really even fully digest what just happened, radar picks up 3 Iranian F-4s screaming towards Charlie Group. Charlie Group then turns, fires a bunch of surface-to-air missiles at the F-4s. The F-4s see him coming, they're like, oh shit, they pop a U-turn and try to outrun him. F-4s, while they are extremely fast, can't outrun missiles, so one of the missiles ends up blowing a wing off one of the F-4s. Now America has taken out an entire naval vessel and an F-4 that they did not plan on taking out, and it's throwing off all of our proportions. And because of that, American leadership orders Bravo Group to stand down, we're not going to go take out that 3rd oil rig, and right as soon as that order gets given out, Delta Group chimes in and is like, hey, we found that frigate we were looking for. So now nobody knows what to do, because on one hand, things are already getting out of control, but on the other hand, we really want to take out these frigates. So American leadership decides, well, we might not even have to make a hard decision. Maybe that's not even the frigate and the radar's wrong. Why don't you go ahead and send a couple A6 intruders over, do a flyby. They can verify that it's actually this new modern frigate, and if it is, we'll make a decision from there. Or so they thought, because the A6 pilots are about to decide that they are in fact the main characters of this story. You see, the USS Enterprise and its aircraft aren't really supposed to be doing a whole lot. They're more or less just there for insurance. In fact, they're only allowed to engage the enemy under one of 2 conditions. One, the President of the United States signs off on it, which is actually what happened with the speedboats earlier. Or 2, they get fired upon first. So they got told to go fly by this boat to verify that it is in fact the new modern frigate, but they didn't get told how to fly by the boat, so they dropped down 50, at which point everybody's like, what?
I fucking hate Jesus.
Why do you hate Jesus?
He's just not real.
He's not real?
No, he's not real.
Why is he not real?
Because he's a fictional character.
I don't care what the Bible says. Like, I feel like it's a clown show, like sitting here trying to decipher what your little mythical book has to say about these very real political issues. I don't care about your goddamn religion.
If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. John 15:8. It's time to stand up, soldiers. Rise up against the world.
I want to thank the King of Kings, Jesus Christ.
Show them the strength we have in Christ.
I gotta give thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Never back down.
Jesus loves you so much, so much. You guys have no idea. He loves you so much.
A message from the soldiers of Christ.
This man found a $20 bill with a watermark of a horned George Bush.
And I just believe that it needs to get out of the Ohio Valley and let others know about it. And what it is in this religious book, Bible of mine I've had for a long time, is a $20 bill. And most of these $20 bills, which when this came out in 2004, the watermark is Jackson and Jackson. Well, the day I got this bill, we were all looking at the light because it was a brand new bill, and as we were looking at it, it was Jackson. We clearly saw the bill, and I have a lot of friends that, witnessed this bill at the time when they got it. Well, that evening I took it home, and I wanted to put it in my Angel Book Bible as a bookmarker because I didn't have my other Angel bookmarker, and I basically just took it, and I stuck it in the book, and went to sleep like that, and thought nothing of it. So the next morning, I went to get up to use that $20 bill for gas. And as I did, I couldn't believe what I saw when I looked at the light the final time. When I looked with the watermark, it looked more, instead of Jackson now, it looked as this Bush. And Bush is our president, and the difference is, it has a horn on the head now. So when I saw this, I ran out of the house, I went to tell people, and I told the news story and everything else, and everybody was just freaking out because they couldn't believe what was on my image of my bill. First thing they said was, is it real? I said, yeah, it's real. It's the same bill. So I took it to different banks and had the news station take it to banks and stuff. And what you're about ready to see is, on this bill is, you're going to notice that this watermark isn't Jackson. It is Bush. And as I take it up here, I'm going to have to show you in the light here what you will see. And as he's showing it to you, I'm going to get another bill for the exact same year and show you what it's supposed to look like and what that looks like.
Let's take a closer look.
You see clearly in the watermark is the image of Bush. The nose, the chin, the eyes, there's a horn coming from the head. And the news stories that I have support that. It's been on News 9, News 7. It's been in regular articles, online stories, which I can submit that all with my story. And every time I try to submit the story outside of Ohio Valley, somehow or somewhere it seems to stop my story.
This man found
Congo Basin is the world's second largest tropical forest. It is twice the size of Arizona. It is home to gorillas, elephants, buffaloes, and other endangered species.
With its dense jungles and amazing wildlife, Congo's a mysterious place that hides many secrets deep within the harsh region. You might want to brace yourselves, because what they just discovered in Congo terrifies the whole world. Can you handle the terrifying wonders in store for you? Join us as we look at the mysteries surrounding this African country. The Congo Basin, second in size only to the mighty Amazon, isn't a terrain for the faint-hearted. It holds 12.5% of the world's remaining tropical rainforest, containing the greatest number of mammals, primates, birds, amphibians, and fish in Africa. The wildlife is lush, there's no doubt about that. But have you heard about a certain massive creature in these waters? While the search for Scotland's Loch Ness Monster is world famous, there's another sea monster that isn't as well known. In the vast wilderness of Congo-Brazzaville, a mysterious and elusive creature is said to dwell. But how strong is the evidence that such a monster really exists? One of the most exciting and terrifying ideas is how dinosaurs might still be living in the remote jungles of the world. Such is the story of the Mokele Mbembe that's captivated the imaginations of scientists and cryptozoology enthusiasts alike. Nestled deep within the dense and unexplored rainforests of the Congo Basin, Mokele Mbembe is said to be reminiscent of the long-extinct sauropod dinosaurs that once roamed the earth. This beast has terrified the minds of locals and foreigners alike. Its name roughly translates to the one who stops the flow of rivers, which should tell you all about the threat it brings. The one area today that would allow these prehistoric creatures to be able to survive would be the large and unexplored swamps of equatorial Africa. Fossil evidence shows dinosaurs ruled Earth for 230 million years, but all at once they lost their dominance. The species was wiped out all at once, but are all of them gone? Reports of the Mokele Mbembe aren't anything new.
What? What's wrong with you? You okay? That was the distress bar. You all right? What? Can you talk? Hey, y'all hear that? Hey, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Are you okay? Speak in your human voice. Are you all right? I need to know. I need to know what to do. You need me to call 911 or something? Hey, be serious. Be serious. I'm finna go call 911. Hey, I'm finna go call. Oh, this is my favorite show. Why you move my hand? I want it right here, man. Let it stay with. Come on, man. Just right here. Right. You act like you got eczema. What about right here? Right. That's fine. How about right? You know what? This uncomfortable for my paws though. Right here. I want it right here, man. Let my hand stay right here. For real, man. Come on, bro. Look, you ain't even moving this arm, man. See? What about right here? Right here. See, now you just being unruly. What? Right here. Right here. You know what? Okay. That's fine. I'll keep it right here, but I really want it right here. Ooh, ain't no dog chasing that ball. It's out of here, baby. Yeah. Oh, I gotta work. I'll be back. I gotta go. I gotta thank you. I was coming to the ball. Thank you. Man, that was a good hit, man. Man, that was a good hit, man. I didn't even see the ball out there. I was looking for it. Hey, you think I can get a hot dog? You think I can get a hot dog? What?
It's coming. Holy smoking Toledo.
When this cop was sitting in a court, suddenly a little girl who was crying approached him. She was with her dad at first, and he tried to take her with him to the courtroom, but it wasn't allowed, and her dad had to leave her alone. The girl got scared and immediately went to the cop like she felt safe. The cop didn't know what to do, but had to calm her down, so he walked her around and even got her some treats and water from other cops. He couldn't see her still upset, so he pulled up some cartoon on his phone, and that's when she tried to climb onto his lap. When her dad got out, he got surprised to see her peacefully asleep in the officer's arms. When this delivery driver picked up a cake order, he suddenly stopped when he saw the address because it didn't make sense. He rushed back and asked the seller to double check it. After she made sure it was true, the man couldn't believe and said that it was his own name and address on it. A stranger had ordered him a cake, but what the stranger didn't know that it was the driver's birthday that day. The seller handed him a free candle. He sat alone on the sidewalk and blew out the candle. It meant the world to him that he couldn't hold back his tears while eating the cake. Something incredible happened when this cat stood in front of a store. The worker thought he would go away, but little did he know that the cat sneaked in and wanted to steal a snack. The worker decided to let him take it, but the cat kept shoplifting for a week, causing trouble for the worker. When the store owner found out, he was pissed and told him to kick the cat out. But the worker decided to buy him food and play with him, hoping he would quit stealing. They became friends, and the cat even began giving shy greetings to the customers. Until one day, the worker got shocked when the cat brought his wife and kitten inside, like showing them why he was taking snacks. When this
Sometimes when you wake up, you have a random song stuck in your head.
Oh, yeah.
And you know why?
Why?
It's because your brain might have picked up like a frequency from a radio signal from somewhere else. Because you know how like a radio, if you have it beside you, it can hear music and it can play music. Maybe you can't if you're not tuned in on the right frequency. But what if while you sleep, somehow you're able to connect to that frequency and hear things that you couldn't. Now back this, right? Let's take it to a next level, because I totally forgot about this. But satellites are a thing. And to see things on a TV through a satellite is a thing. Would it be so crazy that eventually there's a satellite that can put images into our head?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And what if, like right now, everything you see right now is an image that's being played in your head?
Yo.
Television. Division. Tell lies through vision. Be careful what you listen to and what you see, because you just may become it. Many people like to talk about AI and CGI, but what you don't understand is they've been using special effects for a very, very long time. And what you see on that television is never the whole picture. In 2020, it was all about that virus. In 2021, it was about the vaccine. In 2022, it was about Ukraine. I don't know what 2023 was about. I must have missed that one. But guaranteed, 2024, Project Bluebeam, we're going to hear about aliens. And 2025, I don't even know what that one's about. So be careful what you watch and what you listen to. Because remember, it's only tell, lie, vision. Oh my days. Television.
Now, I don't know if y'all have been watching the news or seeing what's going on in the world today, but this is what I would recommend. If you don't own a gun, buy one. And if you own a gun, start training to use it. And maybe run a little bit. Get in shape a little bit. Stay dangerous.
I think we're probably already in World War III. World War III is not going to look like World War II. We were talking about this a little bit earlier with the idea of proxy wars. Proxy wars are a tool that superpowers use to fight against each other without expending their own human lives. We've been in proxy wars since 2012. Syria, Yemen, Libya, we're all proxy wars. And those are just the major proxy wars. I would argue that we're already in the beginning phases of World War III. And World War III looks like a proxy war between the world's largest economies, which those economies are starting to band together. World War II was defined by Axis and allies. You had Italy and Germany and Japan all working together. And then you had the UK and the Americans and the Australians all working together. We're already seeing that happen now. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea coming closer and closer together. You see Poland, Germany, the UK, the United States all pulling together. And you see the world itself dividing. That's, to me, signs that the world is already preparing for a long-term engagement, a long-term war. The war just won't look like nuclear weapons and bombers taking over cities. It's going to look like a line of third world countries that everybody's going to fight over. I think we're probably already in World War III.